Hey guys, this is Tigers coming back to you with Marvel Rivals, and today we are going to be, for the most part, pissing some people off. Guys, basically for a good while I've been basically thinking, what can I do to make my Marvel Rivals content more interesting? And there is a topic that I want to talk about, and that topic is, why do people love picking DPS? Going to be going into somewhat of an in-depth conversation by playing a few games and seeing what team comps we get and comparing it and going over a few different things from that. But first, well, another way tends to do in this habit of where there'll be like a brief point in summer where I'll be like, there's about 5 or 6 skins that I want to get, I'll pick up. But then for like the rest of the year, there'll be 1 or 2. There'll barely be any for like the rest of the year that I'm like, yes, need to get, or like shop-based ones that I definitely want to get. Yes. Yes. And something else, guys, is what we did get on stream was, and we are very much close to being able to get the Black Cat thing. We just need to do a tiny bit more fishing. But again, like, I'm also working on the Jubilee thing because I've got like 17 days to get done the rest of this. We're going to be playing a couple matches and comparing them and seeing what type, and generally seeing what type of team we do get, and basically going over a few reasons why I honestly do think people do honestly pick DPS. And if you want a quick response, I think it does just come down to damage. Tank or Vanguard by name is a case of tank, like you're tanking damage. Support and I've completely forgot what it's called in this game. Support and strategist. Well, strategist by name, which I don't like the fact that that's what they call the supports in this game, because strategist by the name is smart. Like, you're a strategist, you come up with plans. Whether it be battle plans, plans in general, field ops, like that is generally strategist area. And there are characters in this game, which I will quickly go over now, starting at the bottom, that I do probably think to do. I'm not going to comment on everyone, I will comment on a few. Like Ultron, it's a robot, he's smart. Yeah, it makes sense for strategist. Star-Lord maybe, but he's not one in the first place. White Fox potentially, but I don't know that much about the character. Jean's not exactly dumb, she is generally smart and her telepathics and all that lot. So Rocket, I'm pretty sure is also smart. Spider-Man is. Like, he's a damage character too. Like, DPS he is. No idea on Luna Snow. Loki is more crafty. Invisible Woman is. Reed is, but like, you could make the argument of Invisible Woman and Reed Richards could be swapped. Iron Man is smart. Jubilee comes off as a more fun type. Cyclops is, but that's more battle smarts. Cloak and Dagger aren't the dumbest in the world. And like, Hulk is, but like, it's Hulk. Like, Bruce Banner's the smart one, Hulk's just the tough one. But like I say, guys, go over more in a depth conversation. If you're new right now, please like, comment, subscribe. And if I do bug anyone, this is generally just a case of going over why I do think a lot of people pick DPS. And I can tell you now, this would be the one time where I'm like trying to compare DPS and seeing why I end up getting like 3 or 4 people on the team trying to play DPS, when I get no one on my team trying to play DPS. Now, will I be helping the situation by not playing DPS? Maybe, it depends. If there's a spot open on DPS, then I'm playing DPS. If not, then not. Anyway, guys, I'll be back since I load into a game of comp. I should make that clear. We are going to be playing comp. It's going to basically be the best way to look, strategize, and go over it. But again, I'll be back soon to get into a game. So, guys, we're back into a game. We're in a game. Like,
Pick your hero.
I probably will end up
Or villain.
like scratching
I'm
the first
not
game out,
judging.
which ended up with a balanced team.
I'm Luna Snow. Like the moon, I shine in darkness.
And guys, my point of basically trying to go like DPS is like, why does everyone love DPS? And one, it's just the most part title-wise there, but two,
White Fox is always with me.
in more specifically, why, like my title probably will just, the title probably will be, why do people hate balanced teams? One, you don't always need
30
one.
seconds
Like there
before you
are a
attack.
few obsessions,
Get
like few
ready.
cases where you can get away with having one support, one tank, and like,
I don't
or
need
like one
telepathy
support
to
or
know
one
what to
tank,
do.
or 2 or 3 supports and one tank and like 2 DPS. Sometimes you can get away with it. Not always, but the reason I say why does everyone love DPS is because 9 times out of 10 you will get, like, granted,
Battle starts in 5, 4.
it's a
3,
lot, it's kind of
2,
worse in Overwatch,
1.
like,
All you need to do is capture the mission
and I actually do
area.
get chances
Got
in
it?
this to play DPS, but to a point of role queue in Overwatch means, yeah, I honestly do consider it a miracle when I get into DPS role queue on Overwatch, unless I'm direct and queuing for it. Shit. But it comes down to a case of simplify it, as I already have. It does, I personally think, does just come down to the case of
Mission area is yours.
damage.
Capture
I
now.
think it does come down to the fact of, and basically comparing it to something, a case of, comparing say like Spider-Man, Iron Man, but like just DPS as a whole. Like taking some of the most popular DPS characters, Jean, Cyclops, Magic, Iron Man, Spider-Man. Like comparing them to like things like Invisible Woman. Yeah, people don't mind the Fantastic Four, and they were a lot more popular, but like everyone loves Spider-Man. And it does come down to the case of, if you were going to say buy a Pokemon card, and your options were a not so cool, like an average Charizard, but like it's still a really kind of cool Charizard, and like say something like a shiny Zigzagoon. Now, some people would probably pick the shiny Zigzagoon. I potentially might, but I think I overall probably would still go for the Charizard.
I'm making a comeback.
And it comes down to a case of a lot of people would end up picking the Charizard. And then if you were to then chuck in,
Their team's capture progress has passed the halfway point.
I don't know, something like say Parasect, or or one of like the many water type Pokemon from Kanto that no one uses, like Dugong or Steel. Or the literal fish with a horn. Like, it's not Kingdra. No, it's not Kingdra. I can't think what it's called off the top of my head.
They've almost got
And like
it.
compare that to like those like more underrated Pokemon that they will have their own little fandom. But I guarantee now a lot of people are gonna go for that Charizard, and like same in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like Yu-Gi-Oh! Like themselves like know, like Konami themselves know that if you want to like make money on like a reprint sell, chuck Blue Eyes in there, chuck Dark Magician in there, chuck some Red Eyes cards in there. But like you chuck Blue Eyes with that Magician in there, everyone's gonna be like, oh my god.
White Fox
And even
is
those who
always with
aren't,
me
even if they're
today.
not the best competitive cards, people are still gonna want to get grab them. Like the Blue Eyes White Dragon structure that came out, I can't think when. I think it was like a year, maybe 2 years. It came out a little good while ago
30
at this
seconds
point.
before you attack. Get ready.
Blue Eyes still gets played meta now. I still play Blue Eyes in Master Duel Meta. It's one of my IRL Meta decks, and I'm saying Meta deck as if it's not a case of a deck that I use for tournaments, but it's still just one of those decks where I would take to a tournament. Because I like having meta decks and non-meta decks. More fun, casual, anime sort of style decks where you've got like a random, like for instance, half the cards that Jaden uses. You wouldn't realistically run half of them. You might run their upgraded forms,
All you need to do is capture the mission
but you wouldn't
area.
realistically
Got
run
it?
half of them. But for me, I would in some decks. Like I wouldn't necessarily want to run things like, even though Stratus and Blazeman are decent, and like same for Vadimus, I wouldn't necessarily want to run 3 Stratus because I like variety and I like things being somewhat different. And I like basically having something that's more accurate to what Jaden actually plays. And some of Jaden's actual cards, even if they might not be the best of the best. And, but then again, like, compared to, like, say something like, I'm trying to think of a somewhat modern set, trying to actually think of a set that I can't think of, I'm trying to think of a set that they basically, for the most part, no one cares about, really cares about, Chem Critters. A set up until a while ago that I did not know existed until YouTubers started making videos on what deck would these characters play. More specifically, what deck would these characters play in the modern day. And it was someone doing the GX era, and it was Bastion. And it's like, well, he plays chemical-based cards. So, but then, like, compared to like, things like Fluid and Dark Magician, almost everyone wants it. Yeah, people are going to be slightly annoyed that they can't get support, but they have their own capability. Same for things like Heroes, Sky Dragons overall.
I'm back in the fight.
Because yeah, people prefer things like Red Dragon, Stardust, and Blackwing and Black Rose, but the old person does still like Ancient Fairy and Power Tool. Number of these monsters will have their own little fandom. Like people like Utopia, and a lot of people love Galaxy Eyes. And there'll be the odd person who likes things like Odd Eyes Pendulum, like Pendulum cards, like Odd Eyes and DVDs. And then Link, you'll have people who like things like the Dragon Link cards and the Cyber Link cards. Both with more than once come back meta-wise. Then compared it to things like Marvel and DC. Marvel-wise, if you saw like back when Iron Man movies come out, it was like, yeah, I need to go watch it. Same for Captain America, same for Thor. And like now with Spider-Man movies, you've kind of got that now. And with DC-wise, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman is sort of like the big ones that you do need to go and watch because why wouldn't you? It's Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman. It's Iron Man, Spider-Man, Thor, Captain America. Same for like the X-Men. And like Wolverine. But if they randomly say, like I'm saying that, if they did a movie just about, like a movie that I kind of did exist, kind of wasn't 100% sure what it was called or what, there's a movie called Mutants. I think it's based on the new class, Magic in it as far as I'm aware. I've not seen it. To the point where I did not know existed until a while ago. Like I've seen rough things, so I just thought it was like a random girl that used a sword and had like a metal arm sort of thing. Like I wasn't 100% sure what it was. Yep. And like going back to the Overwatch thing, Blizzard themselves know if they want to get money, what's the best way to do it? Is it A, giving skins to people who actually need them, who deserve them, or is it B, people who are going to actually resell? Damn it. Like, you're not that always going to willingly go and be like, hey, I'm going to go and buy this random Doomfist skin. But Kiriko, Tracer, Sojin, and same for Rivals. Luna Snow has more than once had people question why does she get so many skins? Because people buy them. Same for Phoenix. Same for Psylocke. Same for Magic. Scarlet Witch. They get a load of skins because they do sell well, even though I think Magic has the least out of the ones I've just mentioned. But it's because they sell well. And coming back to my DPS argument, people play DPS even though that barely proved it, considering that was more of a tank round. But, coming back to the DPS argument, people play DPS because DPS is the cool thing to do. People come back to DPS, and I'll get back into this as soon as... Actually, do I have any fishing? I do. But like, people come back to the people constantly come back to the, for instance, when Jubilee and Cyclops came out, not Jubilee, Cyclops, going back over the last set of characters that have been released into this game, Devil, Cyclops, people played Devil for like a week or so when he came out. But then since Cyclops came out, people are still playing him to this day. And same with Jubilee and Hood. The odd person still plays Jubilee, and Hood's still currently getting paid at like the odd games. But like, a lot of people are just going back to the DPS counters and the DPS picks. Anyway guys, I'm back since I loaded into a game. So guys, got into a game. But getting back to the conversation guys, it's one of those things where I think everyone goes back to DPS, and I'm kind of guilty of this myself, because it's typically a lot more fun. I can say I've had a lot more fun playing things like DPS in a role as general between Overwatch and Rivals than I have blocking some damage as a tank every so often. Do I think tank support are more boring? No, I think they're more essential roles than damage. Like, I do just think DPS / duelist, depending on what game you're playing, either way it's the same role.
The right heroes could make all
I do
the
think
difference.
it does just come down to a case of what do you need for your team. And like I say, people are still playing the Hood, but that's because he is relatively new. We'll go Jubilee. Played Luna Snow last game, I'll play Jubilee this game. And guys, like, I'm playing Jubilee, yeah, it was on stream last Friday that I ended up getting the most kills as Jubilee, so even as a support player, I ended up getting like a good set of kills. It was like 40 kills overall. I don't know if it was most between both teams, but it was definitely, pretty sure it was the top of my team.
Coordinated jackets and capes. I like it.
And I had a good time. But I can say now, like, that I do have more fun playing certain support classes, certain support characters, over some others. Like someone like Mercy in Overwatch, I don't mind playing our player ever so often, and there might be more times that I do play her. But I do definitely enjoy playing someone like Kiriko more often. I like being able to go to the damage attack and like all that lot, and not just basically being the case of, here, let me just keep this stick halfway to your backside. Like, it does just get to a point where, like, if you're only healing and not being able to do anything else, the areas are fun. And I'm not saying, you know, like, DPS is the most fun thing in the world. It has its problems. A lot of people who play it with them means, okay, so you don't always get a balanced team. And in this case, we've been lucky. Which I honestly do think is why we're just basically saying, yeah, we know you're trying to basically get full DPS, we're not gonna lie to this. But I do, in general, think like both Overwatch and Rivals have a balance problem, and I don't think it's down to the game. I think it's down to the fact that some people don't want to play those roles. And I get it. Like, DPS is DPS. It's a cool thing. Who doesn't want to, you know, shoot off the class of Cyclops? You know, use your firepower to like play as Phoenix and do damage like that. Play as an assassin like Psylocke. Shoot, you know, rockets and blasts as Iron Man, web sling as Spider-Man. I mean, you know, half the reason I chose to get PS4 in the first place was because Spider-Man PS4. I like Spider-Man, I like the X-Men. And the X-Men I typically do like, are more in DPS. Like, I don't mind Jubilee, and I do definitely like her as a character in the game. But as an overall character, my only interaction with her is the original 90 series and then 97. And yeah, she's been a lot more forward this season, I recommend like, not like 17 2. But I didn't really care about it in the original series. And so, and plus, at the end of the day, what would you, it comes down to a case of what would you rather do? Be the hero that saves the day from doing the most damage and getting the most kills, or be the person stuck in the back, you know, making sure no one dies to support, or taking the hits as a tank. And I'm not saying that you can't, like, get kills, like, Venom on the enemy team is getting more kills than the rest of their team. Our Devil's outperforming the rest of our DPSs, apart from Scarlet Witch. And there are just going to be damage characters that everyone's like, oh my god, I need to play. Which, fair enough. But, there are options, there are alternatives. One day I might make a video on the fact that if you want to play this DPS character, then you should play this tank, the support character. But to cover a few basics, if you do want to play like a DPS character that's sort of mid-range, gets a good few kills but doesn't do too much, and it's more just like keeping the balance of the game and, you know, keeping players from advancing too much, play things like Luna Snow, play things like Jubilee, play things like Invisible Woman. Jubilee has several attacks that allows you to keep people at a distance. Luna Snow has abilities that allows you to keep people steady where she wants them. Invisible Woman has force fields. Cloak and Dagger has, like, if you want to generally do a good bit of damage, but like still that you still need support, play Cloak and Dagger and switch between them. And as literal proof of the fact of, like, even if you want to play damage, you have to play damage and you can't play that support. The fact that I've just gone on an instant kill spree and caught up to like the rest of the team on kills wise. Like, you don't always have to play damage to be the hero. And quite frankly, yeah, there are going to be cases where I've played damage and I've got MVP. But I do honestly think the hero isn't always the person saving the day. The hero sometimes is the person who supported the person who saved the day. A lot of times you're not going to get the win without a good team, without making sure that the enemy team can't just obliterate you on one side. A lot of times the hero is just a support character that is just sitting in the back keeping you alive. And making sure that the fact that you don't die. And it is generally, like I will say now, a lot of time the hero is just the quiet one. The person who's just sitting in the back, making sure the team doesn't rise, keeping them alive, or taking a hit. Being a soldier. And not the character, like, but the role, like, being a hero. It's not always about the big flash of lights. Sometimes it is just about doing, you know, to quote Spider-Man Homecoming, help the little guy. And helping the little guy doesn't always mean getting the most kills. It could just mean it could just mean doing a good bit of healing, offering a good bit of damage, you know, stopping the enemy team from advancing. It could just be something that seems small. When in reality, you did a lot more than you think. It's why I don't necessarily like when games do basically go and turn around and say, the best way to, like, cause the best way to, you know, be the best is from kills. Which I don't know if Marvel Rivals still do MVP based on kills. I've got it from a few times to seeing that, and I've seen a few times it's being that. Oh my goddamn aim.
Yo soy el final.
But like I say, sometimes it's just doing the little things. Sometimes the little thing could just be keeping, in this game, keeping something like the Hulk alive, keeping Scarlet Witch alive while she keeping people alive while they get a team wipe. Sometimes it is just a case of how did you support your team? Rivals know what they're a team game. You can't do anything without the team.
The current score
And
is
the team is
0,
a team. You're not a
2,
one-man army.
1.
But like I say,
Time to
do I
switch
hate
things
DPS?
up,
No, I like DPS as
including
well.
which
I think
side
all
you're
three
on.
are needed. But I do think DPS players
You'll
sometimes
need
do
a
just need
top-notch
to
team to win this one.
take a look.
Cover your ears. Jubilee is here.
And I completely forgot this was comp for a second, so I'm like, victory, it's like, no, it's comp, we need to... But like I say, it is just a case of working as a team. To quote the first Avengers movie, they couldn't have stopped Loki without working as a team, without things like Black Widow and Captain America making sure people got to safety, making sure there's no one left on the streets, without Stark having eyes in the sky, without Thor doing what he did, without Hulk smashing, without Hawkeye taking people out of the sky. They would have failed. They won as a team. And also now it does slightly bug me that how if you wanted to play as the Avengers team on this, you can't,
Hey, Wanda,
because you'd be
any
very
chance you put a
unbalanced,
spell that
and
can
people
curb
have
this
done it.
insatiable appetite
I
I've
will
been
say now,
cursed
if
with?
you were to do the
Which one?
Infinity War
Your hunger
Endgame
to
movie
be
Avengers,
vampire?
you would actually have a better team. You'd have your
Either
Hulk,
one,
your
or
Thor,
both. I'm really not picky.
but for like Infinity War Endgame, I'd probably do Cap, Thor,
4, 3,
Iron
2,
Man.
1.
I think those three would be necessary.
Got my eye.
Mantis for Infinity War, so you've got support.
The tide just came in.
Black Panther,
Namor's army
and like
came with
basically
it.
just take your pick of DPS characters at that point.
I hit the spot.
Or other like tank characters.
Delayed, Namor.
And then so you actually got another support. Trying to think, is there anyone else with support that was in Infinity War Endgame? And the reason I basically include them both and don't just go Endgame. There were a few people that were in Infinity War that were in Endgame. Like things like Gamora
Extra life? Sweet!
was in Endgame, but it just kind of gets weird at points. Because the whole time travel thing, so... And for instance, Black Widow was in Infinity War for all of it. Wasn't in Endgame, it was only about in half of Endgame. But like I say, then just add another support, another DPS, and then you've got a decent team. But like I say now, if we get Ant-Man and the Wasp, and they both end up in support, then doing an OG Avengers team along with that, then you'll be fine. And even if you do take out Captain America now to add the 6th member, you'll then have 3 Vanguards, 1 DPS, and 2 support. So, but like I say, I think if we do get Ant-Man and the Wasp in this game, I think Wasp would be support. I thought that Ant-Man would be DPS. Between his ability to shrink and grow, it would make kinda sense to do him as both. But I think his ult would be one of the cases where he can grow, not permanently. So I don't imagine him having something that can change its size at will. And without the size changing ability, he's not really, you know,
Final
a tank.
score 2, 2, 1.
Like I say, guys, with a balanced team, you can win, but you don't always need a balanced team. I've won games from not having balanced teams.
Another epic victory.
Like I say, guys, for the most part, the thumbnail was just a sort of place of to see whether you would actually click on the video. And if you do like my Marvel Rivals Live content, just know this is similar to what I do in most Marvel Rivals videos. I play a couple games of comp. We have a nice little conversation all that lot, and like same for stream. But going over what other support character I do think you could chuck in for like an Infinity War Endgame team. Although in my defense, I think there's about 3 teams you can make for Infinity War and Endgame. I think if you want a support, you could also then say chuck Rocket in too. Like Rocket would make more sense than Mantis because Rocket was in like the first, like for a good bit of Endgame. So you'd have Thor, Iron Man Cap, play a big part. You need Rocket because you need support. Mantis is then another support. Which is then like your only other option. And then it's just a case of chuck someone like Iron Man in, or chuck Hulk. So like Bruce Banner played a decent bit part of it in Infinity War, so or even chuck Spider-Man in, but what can I? But like if you want to do a Guardians team, like an MCU Guardians team, you'd have to do Rocket, Groot, Mantis, Star-Lord, and then it's like a 6-member. You'd then have to do Adam Warlock. But if you wanted to do like an X-Men team for this game, you'd need Jubilee and Gambit for support to actually have like a balanced-ish team. I think you would personally need Cyclops and Jean. You need Cyclops because he's the leader, but you also kind of need Jean. Then you got Rogue, and then it's just a case of but then it's just a case of like add in like either Emma Frost or Wolverine. So like if you wanted a 2-2-2, you'd need to have Emma Frost in. But if you wanted something that's more of a traditional X-Men team, Rogue, Wolverine, Cyclops, Jean, Gambit, Jubilee. I would love to have Storm on the team, but again you're limited to 6. And I'd like to have at least 2 supports on the team. So you can't do the original 5 team members because because you only got Jean and Cyclops. There's no Angel, there's no Beast, there's no Iceman. Angel I'm presuming is going to be DPS, Iceman would probably be DPS. And Beast would be tank, more than likely, but I could see the argument being made for support. But because he's more of a Hulk type of body build, I am imagining he would probably be support. Like deep tank even. Because like Wolverine would make sense as a tank. But like there's no one that's big that I personally think would make sense as like a support, but I think Beast would be one of those good arguments. If you wanted to rely more on his, you know, mind basically, the fact that he's smart. He just looks like a blue beast. Mystery Love. But anyway guys, thanks for watching. If you're new around here, please like, comment, subscribe. And let me know what you did think of the video. And this is Tiger signing off, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.